Hey, what's up guys? So we are going to be doing the deck profile for the most evil deck of all time. This is the Regina George Dragon Ruler Assault Mode deck. Very nasty deck to run into. I mean, regular Starter's Dragon Assault Mode is hard enough to deal with, but you combo that with the E-Dragons, plus you have Skill Drain, man, you're looking at one of the nastiest decks to run into. So, be ready to play against this deck, because usually when I upload some of these profiles for the decks that have been requested, because this one has been requested so many darn times, but finally uploading it for you guys, and be expected to play against this deck. I would say your key cards to run to counter this in the side deck are probably DD Crow, anything that stops special summons like Fossil Dyna or Jowgen, or just anything to stop special summons after that they've used the effect of Assault Mode so it can't return, is probably one of the key cards you're going to be needing in your side deck. But this deck legitimately is not bad. I mean, I'm not sure if anyone will actually play this at a huge large scale tournament, but the deck is legitimately good because pretty much you can mix in a lot of different things with E-Dragons, and the deck automatically has superior advantage in the game because you can make a lot of pushes with the E-Dragons, and you never really get punished for your plays because whenever you're banishing, you're going to be adding more cards anyway. So let's finally get started with the deck profile, and I'll explain the choices as we go along. So first off, Triple Flambeau Guard. It's just a searchable card off of Blaster, plus it's a tuner, plus it allows you to use Blaster's effect if you're really going to pop something like Vandy's Emptiness, or more than likely popping another card to get rid of Vandy's Emptiness. Next up, Triple Assault Mode. It's not that bad in this deck simply because you happen to have the ability to just banish dragons to special summon, plus it's another win target, so if you really need to add a tuner, you happen to have the option with it as well with Tempest's effect. Next up, 12 of the standard E-Dragons, so Triple Blaster, Triple Tidal, Triple Tempest, Triple Redox. And then you want to get out Assault Mode as quickly as possible, because there are times in certain games where your opponent will try to stun you with a certain card, and you really want to get out Assault Mode as quickly as possible, so that way you can prevent you from really losing any of the cards you're going to be summoning, because once Assault Mode is out on the field, your opponent can't really respond when you're trying to go for some large pushes, because anything that they do, you can respond with Assault Mode then goes off the field. Especially if you're playing against the regular Dragon Rulers, I think this deck honestly has a huge edge on regular Dragon Rulers, simply because once Stardust is off the field, they can't really do anything to take your Stardust or something like that. Whereas when you have Quasar out against them, they can go for Draco Sack, and then once they go for the tokens, you obviously will be like, okay, I'll negate the tokens because I don't want him to have tokens at all. And then they might just go for Big Eye, and since Quasar will still stay on the field, they can Big Eye and take your Quasar. So that's unfortunate to run to if someone steals your Quasar Dragon. But with Assault Mode, he goes off the field, then what can they really do? They're not going to be able to pump up anything that really gets over 3,000 attack, unless there's some new tech that I don't know of. But generally, they're not going to be getting over Assault Mode, and if they're going to use the effective Army Arm to equip, you just negate that anyways. So Assault Mode is very nasty to deal with. Just get this out, and then you're pretty much looking at a very advantageous game, I would say. Next up, we have 3 Assault Beasts, because like I said, you want to get out first turn. You basically play 8 copies of Assault Mode, because you have 3 copies of Assault Mode, you have 3 copies of Assault Beasts, which are 1900 beaters, which is not bad at all. Plus, they are so it's more food for Redox. Plus, you have 2 Tenkies to search out Assault Beasts to make it go and make it 2000 attack, which is definitely nice. Plus, a point for points Thunder King, because that is a card that you don't want to run into. Next up, we play 6 of the Wind Dragoonity tuners, simply because you want to be able to get those tuners as quickly as possible. The way I've built this deck is to be able to go for first turn Assault Mode, and then after first turn Assault Mode is out, you basically have a significant advantage in majority of your matchups. You can opt to play Effect Veiler if you want, don't get me wrong at all, but I like these because they're dragons plus they're wind, so it works with Tempest, even though you technically shouldn't really need to search out for another dragon. It's not like you want to search out for anything other than your turns, and if you already have it, it's fine. So you can definitely play Effect Veilers, but I find it more consistent just to happen to have the winds, because usually once you go for your first turn Assault Mode, next turn you usually can throw out another monster, you attack with both of them, and then if they can't respond by the next turn, you usually end up winning in turn 3, I would say. You can technically OTK in this deck pretty easy, but most of the time it's within turn, I'd say 2 to 3 is where you can actually finish off the game. But next up, we play Triple Sacred Sword of 7 stars. Fantastic card. Lets you add, any of the E-Dragons. Usually you want to add a tuner with it if you don't have one, but it's a pretty self-explanatory card. Next up, 1 Upstart Goblin, because there's only room for 1. This card lets you add pretty much anything in the deck. It's too good. Obviously, if you add Assault Mode, activate or Assault Beast, you have to wait. But basically, you are going to be banishing any of the E-Dragons and you're going to search out for the tuner or whatever you really need. And then 2 Tankies to add Assault Beast, because like I said, you want to get it out as fast as possible. Then we have Triple Assault Mode activate. And then lastly, we have Triple Skill Drain, because it's so good in the mirror match, because once you get out Assault Mode activate, once you successfully use your assault mode to activate and you get out a Stardust Dragon and you set a skill drain, they basically lose at that point. The only thing they can really do to get rid of skill drain is the blaster, and you obviously negate that. And you can only really use Blaster's effect. I would say legitimately, most games only allow you to use 2 Blaster's effects. That's about it. And if you just negate the Blaster effect, what are they going to do once skill drain is out? The only thing that they can really use in most of the competitive Dragon Ruler decks, they don't main deck MSTs, and even if they're doing the main deck Lila, and obviously they happen to have the option to go for Black Rose, but that's pretty much not going to be there simply because skill drain is going to negate Black Rose's effect unless they Book a Moon and do that stuff. But then you can just negate Book a Moon with assault mode. So I think it has a really good matchup against the Dragon Ruler deck. Who knows if someone will actually take this and make it competitive, because honestly, it's not a bad deck at all, especially when you're going first. I mean, it's just too dirty and too nasty to run into. But as far as the extra deck, you don't really need anything other than Stardust Dragon. I mean, it's nice to have the Dracossack, the big guy, and occasionally you can still make Gyos because you happen to have the option for Redox's effect to special summon. You go for another title. And I think this card is probably one of the best, rank 7 XYZs in the game to stun your opponent. Obviously, this is one of the most nasty cards and probably will get hit in the future, but who knows? Maybe it'll still stay at 3. We never know with Yu-Gi-Oh! But yeah, this has been the deck profile for the Regina George Assault Mode Dragon Ruler deck. Pretty nasty deck to run into, but if you have any suggestions for it, as always, let me know in the comment section below. But I legitimately think this deck has a chance. Like, it's not a bad deck at all, even if you want to take it to a tournament. Play the deck, see how it goes for yourself. Like I said, if you get to go first, most of the time you'll be able to throw up Assault Mode, and at that point your opponent just quits, because they see the E-Dragons, and they're like, E-Dragons plus Assault Mode, and he's got it out? Okay, I'm dipping out of that game. And I don't blame them for dipping out of those games, because it's a game that you're just, asking to lose. If you guys want to actually check out a video, because I've done a lot of duels with this deck, but majority of the time, like I said, people quit out. This guy had a decent hand with Mermails, but you can see that it just doesn't matter because, this card is just OP with the Dragon Rulers. But anyways, thanks for watching, guys. Agent Eyes, signing out.